I was never good at maths, just decent, but never great. I was the kid who would dominate every single lesson and answer every single question. But when it came exam time, I struggled to perform. That was until I figured this one thing out. I was never actually good at math. I was just good at preparing for lessons. Once I understood that, I came up with a system that took me from being a B or occasional A student to being a consistent A star student. And in this video, I'm going to share that system with you. Make sure to watch till the end because I've got a special anecdote for you. Before we even get into the plan, we need to start by gathering resources, starting with the syllabus. That's the most important one. It details everything you must know. If possible, print it out and have a physical copy. Next on the list is the textbook. I don't use this in the traditional sense, so I'll cover the other resources and I'll come back to this one. After the textbook, we move on to our online resources. So find websites that offer revision notes, topical questions, and the like. The idea is that we don't really want to be writing our own notes. It's a complete waste of time. There are many students who've already gone through A-levels and already posted their notes on the internet. They've already done the dirty work for us. There's no point in trying to recreate the wheel, because the reality is it's going to take you a long time to complete those notes when you can just simply pay a few dollars to get high quality notes from a student who's already achieved the grades you want to achieve. And if you do enough digging, you could even get them for free. If you happen to do CIE A-level maths, you're in luck, because I have a website where you can find revision notes, topical past paper questions, and I even offer tutoring. So make sure to check that out. The website is gcealevelmaths9709.com. The link is in the description. Once you have websites that cover the notes aspects of things, you need video tutorials. YouTube was my go-to. I would search up the concepts that I needed to learn, but make sure to stick very closely to my syllabus, because once you go beyond the scope of the syllabus, things can get very complicated very quickly. Coming back to textbooks, I'm not the biggest fan because most of them have good information, but they tend to beat around the bush a lot. And to be honest, no one has the patience to dig through those thick A-level textbooks. Nevertheless, a textbook can be quite useful. As you start to gather all these resources on the internet, you start to find that some of them may contradict each other on the same concept, and you don't know which one to believe. That's where your textbook comes in. It serves as the single source of truth. If you don't trust the information you're getting from videos or websites, refer to your textbook. Obviously, get a textbook that's recommended for your exam board. Once you've gathered all your resources, it's now time to finally put in the work. The self-study system I'm about to show you has 4 steps to it. As we go through each step, I'm going to give you an example of how I would use it to learn a particular A-level math concept. So the first step is to learn the theory. Grab your syllabus, choose a topic you want to learn, and within that topic, pick a particular bullet point you want to focus on. Let's say I'm doing pure 3 maths. So we'll go to the first topic, algebra, and we'll look at the first bullet point that talks about the modulus function. So we'll search up a video on YouTube that covers the modulus function, ideally for your syllabus. Then watch that video. After watching the video, you should have at least a basic understanding of the concept. Maybe not a solid grasp, but you can see where it's going. When I was decent at math, I was a master at this step. I would watch dozens of YouTube videos. Then the following day, I'll show up for my lesson and I'll perform extremely well. But the problem with this step alone is that it will make you good at math, but not great. To reach that next level, you need to employ the 3 remaining steps. So let's move on to step number 2. The next step is to go through some examples. So with the website of your choice, or textbook if you prefer, go through some examples. The point is, the theory is good, but you need to see in action how these abstract ideas then convert into solving real problems. Going back to a modulus function example, here I've got the GCE A-level maths 9709.com website open on the modulus function section. So I'd go through this first example. The first question is asking me to sketch the graph of a modulus function. Alright, the example says that I have to sketch the graph of the equivalent function. In this case, it's a straight line. Okay, that makes sense. Next is to reflect any parts that are below the x-axis. Fair enough. And there's a graph of the modulus function. At this point, you're starting to see how this stuff works. So you move on to the next example, except you're going to do this one differently. Instead of just going through the steps to the solution, you're going to attempt this one yourself, using the instructions from the first example. In the first example, we started by drawing the graph of the straight line. So I guess maybe here we have to draw the graph of the quadratic first, right? So you do that. The next step was to reflect any parts below the x-axis. Okay, so that's this region here. Let's reflect it. According to the first example, this here should be the solution to the second example. And now you check to see if you're correct. Sketch the graph of the quadratic, reflect any parts below the x-axis, and that gives you the graph of your modulus function. At this point, you're starting to get a good grasp of the concept, but to solidify your understanding, we have to move on to step 3. Once you're comfortable with the examples, you can start to do topical past paper questions. The idea is that you want to start familiarizing yourself with the questions that will come up in the exam. I never used to do this step, so come exam time, I was unfamiliar with all the questions that came, so I wouldn't do too well. Continuing with our modulus function concept, particularly the sketching bit. I'm assuming you've got a website or textbook that has topical questions for your exam board. In this example, I'll continue with GCE A-Level Maths 9709.com. When looking at the algebra topic, sketching graphs will probably fall in the easy category, so let's check in that worksheet. The first question is a sketch, so we'll do that. Recall what the first step from our example was. The first step was to sketch the graph of our straight line, so we would go ahead and do that. Then the next step was to reflect any parts of the graph that were below the x-axis, so let's reflect those parts. And voila, we have our sketch. Fortunately, this has detailed solutions, so you can always compare your answers to the solutions, and if you do get it wrong, you can see exactly where you went wrong. Again, if you do CIE A-Level Maths, make sure to check this website out. Once you've gone through one question and you get it correct, do more questions until you're comfortable with that concept. And even once you're comfortable with that concept, continue to do questions on it frequently, because mathematics is a skill. If you don't use it, you will lose it. Before we move on to the fourth step, you have to repeat steps 1 to 3 for every concept within the syllabus. If you do this diligently, I guarantee that by the time you finish the syllabus, you will have a very good grasp of the subject, and you may not even need step 4. Step 4 is to start solving full past papers. Be very deliberate about the way you do these past papers. Take note of all the concepts you're struggling with, then take them through steps 1 to 3 again until you're comfortable with them. Then do another past paper and repeat this process until you're nearly perfect. By the time the exam comes, you'll be ready to get that A star. As soon as I started to implement the system into my studies, I started to totalize every test. I mean every test I took. Here are the receipts. My teachers even started questioning me on whether I took extra lessons, because the results and the consistency of the results was unprecedented. Try it out for yourself, then come back and tell your success story in the comments below. As promised, I have an anecdote for all you guys who made it to the end of the video. This video was inspired by a message I got from Harry, who has a very inspiring story I want to share with you. In the time he was in high school, he had a brain tumor that prevented him from completing his Math A levels. Fortunately, this brain tumor has since been removed, and Harry is now doing breast cancer genetics research. To strengthen his mathematical foundation, he has decided to complete not just A-level math, but get this, also further math. Honestly, I have nothing but respect for this guy, and I hope this story motivates you as well. He could have chosen to quit because the odds were heavily against him, but he's using this resistance as the reason to push forward and complete his A levels. It's unheard of. He also had a few questions he wanted me to answer, so I will do that now. The first one was about how to plan effectively. This is a huge concept and it deserves an entire video of its own. It's currently in the pipeline and it should be ready by next week, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. The second was about textbooks. You heard my sentiments about textbooks. I'm sure you probably do just fine by going through all the questions in the textbooks. But let's do it this way. Go to my website and create a free account. Then once you've done that, let me know and I'll grade you to the lifetime pack. And there you get access to revision notes and the latest topical questions for the latest exam paper. The link is gcealevelmaths9709.com. There's also a link in the description below. Honestly, Harry, your story is very motivating and I really hope to connect with you once you've gone through your A-levels, because I think then your story will have even more power and will motivate even more people. I genuinely wish you the very best in your A-level journey, and contact me if there's anything else you need from me. Good luck. For those of you who are waiting for a sign, let this be it. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. It's a psychological battle between you and you. And the very reason that you didn't know that you were your own enemy, that you were fighting yourself, is the reason you've been losing this battle. You have to convince yourself that you can change your circumstance, that you can change your situation. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I almost forgot. It so happens that today is Harry's birthday. So make sure to spam happy birthday Harry in the comments down below. Happy birthday, Harry.